of training was on-the-job training. After a year, I went to a Kennedy Academy with the National Forensics Academy.
In your work as a crime scene technician, were you called upon to assist at the scene of a homicide that had occurred at 3206 Gilbert Lane back on April 5th of 2024?
Yes, I was.
And were you what we call like the lead crime scene technician there that morning, responsible for documenting that crime scene?
Yes, I was.
And did you document the scene with photographs?
Yes, I did.
What kind of equipment do you use to take photographs of a crime scene?
It will be just a standard camera. It's a little bit more fancy, but like a Nikon or Canon type cameras.
So a digital camera?
Yes.
Okay, with high definition capabilities?
Yes.
And can you describe in general how you go about documenting a crime scene like this with photographs? Is there a method to it?
Yes. So we'll start off typically from the outside and working in. We'll start off with overall photographs, doing essentially the best we can of a 360 of the scene, walking around, showing from the outside in, and then walking closer into the scene, getting more in-depth photographs of whatever may be relevant to the scene.
So you start outside, come inside. At some point while you're documenting the scene, are potential items of evidence identified?
Yes. Initially, it might not be obvious with the beginning photographs, but after the fact, I'll lay down some markers, take additional photographs, and then it can become apparent when you compare the two. Okay.
So in your initial walkthrough, is it fair to say you're just documenting the scene as is with no manipulation with, crime scene markers or other types of police work?
Yes. With the initial photographs, I am documenting the scene as I found it when I arrived on scene.
Okay. And then once you have identified potential items of evidence, do you place crime scene markers by each of those items?
Yes.
And then do you document those again with those indicators next to them?
Yes.
Okay. Approximately how many photos did you take or would you typically take at a crime scene like this?
It's hard to say. With similar cases, it could be several hundred. I don't know the exact number for this one, but I believe it was over 400 pictures for just the crime scene.
Okay. We have selected a smaller number of photos that you took at that scene. I'm going to approach and ask you if you recognize this selection. These have been pre-marked as exhibits 59 through 180. So you look through those and let us know if you recognize them. as we go through these exhibits, I'm gonna ask for you to describe for the jury what you're documenting with these photographs. So starting here with Exhibit 59.
This would have been the exterior of the residence, starting from the outside, like I mentioned before, starting with walking around the residence and taking pictures just from the outside to see what it looked like looking in.
How about here with 60?
This is a continuation of the 360, so just another angle from the house going around in a circle.
And then 61?
This appears to be the front of the house.
61, I'm sorry.
This is another continuation of the going around in a circle, looking at the garage side of the residence. This would have been a couple pictures after the last one you just saw. This is from an angle from the backyard, looking at the back door.
And 63.
This is a closer picture of the front door, starting to work my way inside.
And Exhibit 64.
This is going to be another picture of the front door, getting closer, documenting what the door looked like, again, as I found it.
And Exhibit 65.
This is a picture looking into the residence with the door open.
And 66.
This is just directly inside of the front door area. I believe it was a living room type of area.
Exhibit 67.
This would be another angle from that living room area from one of the corners.
And Exhibit 68.
This is going back, another angle from the living room area, working my way into the kitchen.
Exhibit 69.
So this is through that doorway we just saw in the previous picture, looking into the kitchen and seeing the back door.
Okay. Is there anything unusual or that stands out to you about this kitchen area as we're looking at that back door?
Yes, it's going to be the glass broken from that back door.
So now looking at Exhibit 70.
That's going to be another angle from the same spot I was at in the kitchen, just panning through the kitchen.
And 71.
That's going to be the same area of the kitchen, just from a different angle.
Now 72.
This is going to be the entryway of one of the bedrooms. It is adjacent to the kitchen. If you ever make a left from where we entered from, it would have been that first bedroom to the left.
Okay, so this would be the first bedroom you encounter as you go down that hallway off the kitchen.
Yes.
Okay. In Exhibit 73.
This is the interior of that bedroom after I crossed through that doorway.
Exhibit 74.
That's going to be that same bedroom, just from a different angle.
And 75.
Again, that's going to be the same bedroom, from a different corner of the room.
76.
That's going to be a close-up of the bed there, showing that there's some cell phones that were left behind there.
Now 77.
So that's going to be the previous hallway that I mentioned. Once you enter the kitchen, make a left. There's going to be several bedrooms there and a bathroom to the right. The immediate doorway to the left where it's cut off, that was the bedroom we just saw.
How about here in 78?
So that's going to be the next bedroom, the next one on the left that was open in the previous picture.
79?
That's going to be me entering more into the same bedroom, just taking another picture.
80?
That's going to be the same bedroom, just another picture, getting more overall pictures of the room.
And 81?
It's going to be another picture of the bedroom, more specifically the bed and some of the contents that are on
82
That's gonna be the same bed from that bedroom, just another angle.
and 83.
That's gonna be a closer picture of the bed we just saw with some sort of residue or substance that's on the bed.
84
That's gonna be another picture of the broken back door that we saw previously.
Now, how about in Exhibit 85? What area of the home are we looking at now?
So this is gonna be where I'm standing at, still in the kitchen. If you were to make a right, that door is leading to the garage area, which was previously open from the exterior pictures that you saw before.
How about here in 86?
That's gonna be me walking closer into the garage, just taking another picture.
And 87?
It's gonna be just another picture showing more of what it looked like there on the steps.
88?
That's gonna be me stepping down more into the garage area and take another picture of what I'm seeing.
And 89?
That's gonna be some zip ties that I found lying on the stairs.
90?
That's gonna be just another picture of where I was standing on the steps towards the garage area.
91?
That's gonna be another angle of the same area.
92?
This is me going back to the outside of the house, rather than going in where I was originally from before. Instead of stepping over evidence that was there, went to the outside of the garage and wanted to work my way in there. So here's a picture from the outside of the garage.
Okay, so you're now working your way into that same basement area just from the outside.
Yes.
Okay. How about in Exhibit 93?
That's going to be a picture from me inside of the garage.
94?
That's going to be a picture crossing through the threshold of that door into that basement garage area.
And are you beginning at this point to be able to visualize our homicide victim in this case, Ms. Danishka Mejia?
Yes, I was able to see the victim here, and it's hard to tell with these pictures, but there's also a trail or what appear to be footprints that were left on the carpet that appear to be walking out.
In Exhibit 95?
That's going to be a picture of the main crime scene going further into there.
96?
That's going to be a different angle from the crime scene area. It appears to be from behind one of the counters that's across from the victim.
Exhibit 97?
That's going to be a picture of the stairs that I was previously on before, a couple pictures back, just documenting what's there.
What is important that you're documenting about the stairs or the area around it here?
I do recall that there was some physical evidence there, some casings. I can't tell if I can see it in this particular one, but there is what appears to be blood on the floor. So I was documenting there. And if there wasn't anything there besides the blood, I'm also documenting that there was in fact just nothing there.
Okay. How about Exhibit 98?
This could be another angle of the crime scene area, just documenting what appears to be blood around the victim.
99?
That's going to be another angle from the same area, just documenting more of the blood substance.
And Exhibit 100?
That's going to be in front of the victim by their foot, more specifically focusing on the casing that's right by her foot there.
Okay. Now Exhibit 101, what are we starting to document here?
So this is back to the exterior of the house in front of the garage. More specifically, I had placed down a evidence marker on the grass there. One of the investigators had found a cell phone that was out there and had wanted it immediately
And here in 102,
This is going to be a close-up of that cell phone and markers that I mentioned before.
and same thing with 103, you're just getting even closer to that item of potential evidence.
Yes, it's just more of a close-up of the item.
And then in 104, is that the same cell phone?
Yes, it is the same cell phone, just turn around to get a better picture as to what it is.
How about exhibit 105?
This is going to be the exterior of the residence with the back patio area going towards the back door.
And 106?
This is going up the steps up towards that back door area.
And 107?
This is going to be a focus on the back door area from the outside.
And in 108, we're back to a bedroom now that we've seen previously. Is this where you're starting to mark potential items of evidence with evidence markers?
Yes, if I recall correctly, the investigators wanted the cell phones that were found immediately. So I placed down markers here, took pictures of it, and later gave the cell phones to the detectives.
So exhibit 109, are those cell phones you're talking about?
Yes, it is the same cell phones, just from a different angle.
And then 110?
That's going to be more of a focus on the first cell phone, the evidence marker 2.
And then exhibit 111?
And that's going to be a focus on evidence marker 3 of the other cell phone.
Okay. Now moving to exhibit 112, what area of the house are we looking at now with exhibit, evidence marker 4?
That should be right after you enter the doorway leading into that basement area from the garage where the victim was located.
Now looking at that item more closely in exhibit 113, can you explain to the jury what that item of potential evidence is?
Yes, that's what appears to be a bullet fragment. So after a shot was fired from the gun, the projectile would have broken after making impact somewhere. So that's going to be a broken piece. Yes, it is.
How about exhibit 118?
This is going to be more documentation of the main crime scene area, more specifically showing where pieces of evidence is laying with the help of evidence markers.
Okay. And 119?
Same purpose as before, more documentation of the scene showing specifically where evidence is located with the help of evidence markers.
And exhibit 120?
Again, it's going to be another angle of the main crime scene area showing where evidence is laying around.
And exhibit 121?
Another angle of the same crime scene area showing more evidence markers.
Exhibit 122?
So this is going to be the third bedroom that was in the previously mentioned hallway. The door was closed at the time. To my understanding, there was a dog inside. Eventually, we got the dog out. But this is documenting some of the evidence that was located in that bedroom.
And exhibit 123?
This is a closer look at some of the evidence that was going to be collected.
Exhibit 124?
That's going to be a close-up of evidence marker 28, which appears to be a cell phone.
And same thing in exhibit 125?
Yes, it's going to be a better documentation of that cell phone that's not covered up anymore.
Now in exhibit 126, we appear to have moved outside. Is this the front or the back of the home?
This is going to be back to the backyard where the back door was, the back patio area.
Okay. And exhibit 127, you're identifying evidence marker 35. What item is related to your evidence marker 35 there?
35 should be that plastic bag there, which contains some items inside of it.
How about in Exhibit 128, you're documenting your evidence marker 36. What item on that surface are you indicating?
36 is going to be that black glove.
And now in Exhibit 129, we've moved back down to the basement to better document those items of evidence.
Yes, and this is after the medical examiner had removed the victim from the scene.
Okay. Now we're getting a little closer here in Exhibit 130. You have, I believe that's evidence marker 6. What type of item are you documenting here?
This is going to be another casing where the previously light round was shot, and this is the result of what was left behind.
And then Exhibit 7, or Exhibit 131, evidence marker 7. What are you indicating in this photograph?
That's going to be a close-up for another casing that was found, another round that was previously fired.
And then in Exhibit 132, you're documenting evidence marker 8. What type of item is that?
That's going to be another casing.
And evidence, or exhibit number 133, evidence marker 9, what are you documenting there?
So that's going to be a bullet fragment, like I mentioned before. It's going to be a broken piece of what was fired from the light round.
Exhibit 134, you're documenting evidence marker 10. What are you documenting here?
That's going to be another bullet fragment.
And exhibit 135, evidence marker 11, what are you indicating there?
That's going to be another casing.
Now in exhibit 136, you're starting to document an item of evidence in a different part of the basement?
Yes.
And in 137, we see your close-up of that, your evidence marker 12. What is that item?
That's going to be another casing.
Now how about in exhibit 138?
That's going to be another angle of the main crime scene area. I'm not sure what the main focus was there, but you can see on the wall, I did mark with stickers what appeared to be possible bullet defects where the shots may have been fired, but it's hard to tell.
In exhibit 139, you're notating evidence marker 13. What is that item?
That appears to be a casing.
And in exhibit 140, you're starting to document the location of evidence marker 40. Is that still in the basement area?
Yes, that is.
And then in exhibit 141, we see a close-up of that evidence marker item 40. What is that item?
It's hard to tell from my angle right now, but it appears to possibly be a projectile. So what would have been shot off from the round?
In exhibit 142.
That's going to be looking back at the bottom of the stairs of the basement area.
In 143, we're documenting evidence marker 14. What is that item?
That's going to be another casing.
And in 144, you're documenting evidence marker 15. What is that item?
That's going to be another casing.
And in exhibit 145, what are you trying to depict with this photograph?
I'm showing some of the evidence that's there with the evidence markers. I can't tell what they are, but it's whatever is there.
So that one is kind of more of a mid-range shot of the location of evidence markers 16, 17, and 18.
Yes.
And then with our close-up of evidence marker 16 here in exhibit 146, can you describe for the jury what that item is?
Yes, that's going to be another casing.
And then in exhibit 147, your evidence marker 17, can you explain what that item is?
That's going to be another casing.
And exhibit 148, evidence marker 18, what is that item?
That's going to be another casing.
Now looking at Exhibit 149, are you documenting an additional evidence marker here?
Yes, I know it's going to be from a different angle.
And looking at the close-up of that evidence marker 19, what is that item depicted in Exhibit 150?
That's going to be another casing.
Now in Exhibit 151, we start to see an additional evidence marker here, its location.
Yes, it's going to be still in the same basement area, closer to one of the walls.
And in Exhibit 152, we're starting to get a little closer to that exhibit number. What are you documenting there?
It's going to be that casing, located under the yellow part of whatever that package is.
Okay. And then back to the stairs in Exhibit 153, we start to see some evidence markers for 21 and 22 there. Moving on to Exhibit 154, what are you documenting as your exhibit marker 21?
Focusing on the bag of black zip ties.
Okay. And then in Exhibit 155, what are you notating with your exhibit marker 22?
It's going to be an individual black zip tie.
And here in Exhibit 156, what are you starting to document?
Documenting some of the pieces of evidence that was there on the counter and still in the basement area.
Now looking at a close-up of exhibit or evidence marker 23 in Exhibit 157, what item are you documenting there?
It's going to be a red straw with some type of white residue on it.
And then Exhibit 158, what are you documenting with evidence marker 24?
That's going to be a red straw that was found on the floor, again with some white residue on it.
How about Exhibit 159, what are you documenting with evidence marker 25?
That appears to be a bullet fragment.
Now this next exhibit 160, you're documenting evidence marker 26. What location of the home are we now in?
This is going to be back in one of the bedrooms. I believe it was the third bedroom that we saw.
And you're indicating that blue glove there as a potential item of evidence.
Yes.
And in 161, what location of the home are we in this photograph?
This would have been, again, one of the bedrooms. I'm not 100%. It could have been possibly from that third bedroom.
Exhibit 162, what are you indicating as evidence marker 29?
It's going to be that glove that was located under a bed.
And here in Exhibit 163, what are you documenting with your evidence marker 30?
It's going to be some article of clothing, not sure what it is.
Exhibit 164, what are you documenting as your evidence marker 31?
That's going to be an open box of condoms that was found on one of the beds.
And Exhibit 165, what are you documenting there?
That's going to be another article of clothing that was found on the bed.
And now in Exhibit 166, are we back down in the basement in this photograph?
Yes, it's going to be back in the basement area, back at the previously mentioned counter.
Okay, and you're documenting the location of some additional items of evidence.
Yes.
And here in 167, what are you indicating as potential evidence with your evidence marker 33?
It's going to be that plastic bottle.
And same question for Exhibit 168, with your evidence marker 34, what are you documenting as a potential item of evidence?
It's going to be another plastic bottle.
And in Exhibit 169, what are we looking at here?
This is going to be back in the basement area at the previously mentioned wall where I placed stickers to note some possible bullet defects on the brick wall there.
Okay, so the sticker we see on these concrete walls, that wasn't there prior to your arrival. That's something you've placed on the wall.
Yes, it wasn't there before. I placed place those stickers there.
Okay, and you're placing it next to what you believe could be a potential bullet defect in the wall.
Yes.
And how about here in Exhibit 170?
This is documenting the location of another possible bullet defect.
And in 171?
This is going to be the same wall, just a little bit lower, just noting some more possible defects.
And 172?
This is going to be a closer look at the same defects.
How about 173? What are we starting to show here?
Showing some more found evidence in the basement area.
And in Exhibit 174, you've got more of a close-up of your evidence marker 41. Can you explain what that item is?
Yes, that's going to be another bullet fragment.
And in Exhibit 175, you're showing closer angle of your evidence marker 42. What is that item?
That's going to be another bullet fragment.
Okay. And Exhibit 176, is that your hand that we see?
Yes.
And we see an item in your hand. Can you describe what you're attempting to document with this photograph?
Yes, that's a package of some Q-tips that we use for swabbing for DNA evidence. So in this case, I'm taking a picture of what I will be swabbing for DNA, which for this particular picture would have been that red stain on that pillar.
And same thing for Exhibit 177. Is that an area that you're about to swab?
Yes, it would have been the railing there.
And how about Exhibit 178?
So I'm doing the same thing, taking a picture of what I'm going to swab. This is going to be the counter area where the straw and the plastic cups were located.
So these swabs would be of the counter itself, not of the plates or the knife depicted there.
Yes, it would have just been within that immediate area. It would not have been the whole counter.
And then what are we showing in Exhibit 179?
So this is one of the metal support pillars in the basement, located what appeared to be a bullet defect going through that pillar. So I'm documenting that, the possible defect that's there.
And is that a close-up of that same defect depicted here in Exhibit 180?
Yes, it is.
So when you place an evidence marker by an item at a scene like this, as a crime scene technician, are you also responsible for collecting those items of evidence?
Yes, I am.
Can you describe the collection process for us? Are any steps taken to ensure that those items are not contaminated with DNA or other materials during the collection process?
Yes, when we pick up each individual item, we make sure to package them separately. Nothing's going to be packaged together. So they'll each get, say, their own bag or envelope.
And where does the packaging come from that they're placed in?
It'll be from our office. So typically we store it within our vehicles, so for easy access.
Okay, and the packaging that the items are put into, has that packaging been used before for prior crime scenes? Or is
No.
it unique to each crime scene?
No, it's going to be unopened, unused, new packaging each and every time.
Talk to us about the swabbing process, because we saw you swabbing some areas of interest in that basement. How are swabs taken?
So generally what we'll do, it comes with 2 swabs. We'll take both of the swabs out. With one of the swabs, I'll be using diluted water to wet one of them, so that way if I'm trying to take some dry areas, say possible dry blood, it'll kind of wet the area to pick up the stuff easier. So after wetting one of the swabs, I'll take both swabs and rub it on the surface that I need to rub. And then I will take both of those swabs, put them back in the same package, and then immediately put those swabs into a small envelope and keep it away from everything else.
Okay. And once you have swabbed an area or collected an item of evidence from a crime scene, what's done with that item once it's removed from the crime scene?
After I take it from the crime scene, whenever I get back to the office, I will finish packaging it up properly, sealing it up, putting it into another envelope, and then I'll turn it into our property evidence department.
Okay. Once items of evidence are turned into that property unit, are they in a secured location?
Yes, they are.
And do you personally, as a crime scene technician, perform, let's say, DNA testing on items of evidence that you collect?
I do not.
Are items that are collected from a crime scene sometimes sent off to other agencies for further testing?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this for a second. We've seen a lot of items of evidence that you noted at the scene. When you're going through a crime scene like this, the night that the crime has occurred, do you always know what's going to be relevant or important to the investigation?
No, I do not.
Do you sometimes document and collect things that turn out to be completely irrelevant?
Yes.
And then do you sometimes collect things that turn out to be very important?
Yes.
And at the beginning of that process, you treat them all the same?
Yes.
If I were to approach and show you some of the items of evidence that you collected in this case, would you have a way of recognizing them?
Yes.
How do you mark or indicate on items you've collected to help you recognize them in the future?
On the packaging that we will package all the evidence and then turn into property, we'll mark on there what those pieces of evidence are.
Approach the witness.
I'll see what I can see from here. They may move around.
Yeah, you're welcome to join as well.
Okay. We're going to work through a bunch of evidence here. Start with what I'm marking for ID purposes at this time as Exhibit 181. Can you look at that envelope and let me know if you recognize that?
Yes, this is going to be the envelope where I put most, if not all, of the casings that I found over at Gilbert Lane.
Can you open up that packaging and let me know if you recognize the items inside?
Yes. Yes, these are going to be the individual casings in their individual envelopes.
And how many casings are contained within this original evidence packaging?
various types. I have one marked up here as a 22, a 9mm, and one that's marked with the headstand that says 20.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as its next exhibit, which was 182, or 181, I'm sorry.
You want to shoot that collectively?
Yes.
Any objections?
Is that collective?
Yes.
No, Judge, no.
All right, that'll be received collectively as exhibit 181.
And now I'm showing you what I've pre-marked for ID purposes as exhibit 182. Do you recognize this packaging?
Yes, it's going to be the packaging for the individual black zip tie that was on stairs.
Okay. And can you open that up and make sure you recognize it to be the same item you collected?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be the black zip tie.
This time I'd like to move that black zip tie into evidence as the state's next exhibit 182.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
All right, that'll be received as exhibit 182.
Now handing you what we have marked for ID purposes as exhibit 183. Do you recognize this packaging?
Yes, it's marked as the blue glove for Evans marker 26.
Can you open that up and make sure you recognize it to be the same item?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be that same blue glove.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as our next exhibit 183.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
All right, that'll be received as exhibit 183.
Now handing you what I've pre-marked for ID purposes as exhibit 184. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, it's going to be the package for the purple glove that was marked as Evans marker 29.
Can you open that up and make sure you recognize it to be the same item?
Yes. It's going to be the two purple gloves here.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as exhibit 184.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
All right, that'll be received collectively as 184.
Now showing you what's been pre-marked as exhibit 185. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, it's going to be a collection of the DNA swabs that I took. It's going to be the swabs of the basement rail, the basement counter, and the pillar in the basement.
Will you open that up and make sure you recognize those to be the same items you collected?
Yes. Yes, this is going to be the three swabs that I previously mentioned.
I'd like to move that into evidence as the state's next collective exhibit.
Any objections?
No, Judge.
All right, that'll be received as 185 collectively.
I'm now handing you what I have marked as exhibit 186. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, this is going to be the packaging for the plastic bag marked with having a blue glove in it, which was marked as Evans marker 35.
Can you open that one up and make sure you recognize it to be the same item?
Yes. gonna be packaging containing, 5 different fragments and 2 projectiles.
Can you open that up and make sure you recognize the items inside?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be the same packaging.
Okay. And what types of items have you indicated those to be?
They're going to be bullet projectiles, so the part of the ammo that was actually fired from the gun, and then the fragment, so the broken pieces of a broken projectile. But I cannot tell from what caliber or what type of ammunition they came from.
That's not your area of expertise.
No.
How many different either projectiles or fragments of projectiles do you have in this collective exhibit?
I have 2 projectiles and 5 fragments.
Okay. I'd like to move that into evidence at the state's next collective exhibit.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, without objection, I will receive collectively as 187.
Show you now what's been pre-marked as exhibit 188. Do you recognize the markings on that package?
Yes, this would have been the packaging I used to collect one of the plastic water bottles marked as Evans marker 34.
Can you open up that item and make sure you recognize it?
Yes. It's going to be one of those water bottles.
I'd like to move that into evidence as state's exhibit 188.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, I will receive as 188.
I'm now showing you what I've pre-marked as 189. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, it's going to be another packaging for one of the other plastic water bottles, Evans marker 33.
Can you open that one up and let us know if you recognize it?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be another one of the water bottles.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as exhibit 189.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, I will receive as 180.
And then finally, I'm handing you what is exhibit 190. Do you recognize the packaging on that exhibit?
Yes, it's going to be the packaging for the bag of black zip ties that was located on the stairs, Evans marker 21.
Okay. And we open that one up and make sure you recognize it to be the same item.
Yes. my understanding, our late print examiners at our office assisted with trying to locate fingerprints on many pieces of evidence, and I believe this is going to be one of them, using a certain chemical to try to bring out some fingerprints that may be hiding on there.
Okay. I'd like to move that into evidence at this time and give it 190.
Okay, next.
No objection.
All right, that'll be received as exhibit 190.
There are two items left to show you. I'm going to show you what's been marked as ID only at this time as Exhibit 191. Now, this packaging appears to have been marked by Detective Dylan Williams. Will you open up that item nonetheless and let us know if you recognize it as one of the items that you documented at the crime scene?
Yes. So it's going to be a cell phone, appears to be red with a casing, or I'm sorry, with a case. And on the packaging, it does indicate by the detective that it is a red iPhone in a brown case found in the front yard, and it does appear to be the same phone that I first collected that was in the grass by the garage area.
And you had described previously, but after documenting that with photographs, that was quickly handed off to that detective on scene.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as Exhibit 191.
You want to move ahead with Mark Ryan first?
He's identified it by opening the packaging, so I'm asking to move it in.
No objection.
All right, that'll be received as exhibit 191.
And I'm going to ask the same thing with, for now, it's marked as 192. This again has Detective Williams' handwriting on the packaging. But if you'll open it up and let me know if you recognize it to be one of the items that you documented there at the scene.
So there's going to be another cell phone on the package here. It mentions it's a black iPhone in a pink case. And I do recognize this phone as being one of the ones I believe that was located on one of the beds in the bedrooms.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, that'll be received as 192.
Did you also assist in this case in the processing of a BMW that had been impounded to the Knoxville Police Department from Empire Motors?
Yes, I did.
And you were present during the search of that vehicle?
Yes, I was.
Where was that vehicle searched at?
That was searched at in our garage bay at the public safety complex of the police department.
And where was that, or did you document that search process with photographs?
I did.
Again, would you have taken a large volume of total photographs of that search process?
Yes.
And if I were to show you a selection of your photos, would you recognize them?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you what I believe are about 69 photographs that will be marked as exhibits 193. I think that will take us to 262 if our math is correct. But double check those and make sure you recognize them.
We did have an opportunity to review these, Judge, before they were taken.
Okay. Folks, how's everyone doing? Anyone need a quick comfort break? Looks like everyone's good to go.
I do recognize these pictures.
And are they true and accurate photos of the search of the BMW in the case?
Yes.
I'd like to move these into evidence at this time.
Any objections, Mr. Harper? All right, those are 193 to 262, is that accurate?
I believe so. I'm gonna finish numbering them as we go through, so can I give you the final number?
Sure, we'll treat them tentatively as 193 through 262, and you may publish.
Okay, similar to what we did with our crime scene photos, walk us through what you are documenting here, starting with Exhibit 193.
So just like with any crime scene, we'll start from the outside, work our way in, get a 360. In this case, a walk around of the vehicle, documenting what the exterior looks like. This particular picture is documenting the license plate of said vehicle.
Okay. How about here in Exhibit 194?
This is going to be the walk around of the vehicle as I found it before anything was opened up.
And 195?
This is going to be another angle from the vehicle from the front left area.
Okay. And Exhibit 196?
This is going to be another angle of the vehicle from the back right area.
As we've been going through these exhibits so far, I've seen some things that appear to be like red and white tape around certain areas of the car. Can you explain that to the jury?
Yes, that's going to be evidence tape. So typically before the vehicles are brought over to our offices, they are sealed up in that fashion with tape to indicate that if a door ends up being open sometime between it being confiscated until something is being done with it, we can see the tape being removed. In this case, I'm showing that there was no damage done to the tape, that it was still sealed before any work was done to it on my end.
Okay. How about here in 197?
So this is after documenting the exterior of the vehicle, working my way in. There's going to be a photograph of the front driver's side area.
And our next photograph, 198?
That appears to be the rear passenger, rear of the driver's side area, the back seat.
And 199?
That's going to be the trunk area.
Okay. How about 200?
That's going to be just a better close-up of some of the items that were located with the trunk being open.
Exhibit 201?
That's going to be another angle, another closer picture of some of the items that were in the trunk.
And Exhibit 202?
That's going to be the center console area with me having opening it.
Exhibit 203?
That's going to be the same center console area, looking from the inside on a bird's eye view.
Okay. Exhibit 204?
This is going to be another picture of the trunk area. At this point, I'm starting to remove bits and pieces of evidence. As I remove just a couple of pieces, I'll take another picture to show what was underneath it.
Okay. And how about Exhibit 205?
This is going to be another picture of the garage area, the trunk area, and some more pieces of items that were located in there.
Okay. So moving from 204 to 205, it looks like you've kind of removed that blue jean jacket off of the item below it to reveal kind of like a blue duffel bag.
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit 206?
That's gonna be another, picture of the trunk area, just detailing more items that are in there.
207?
That's gonna be indicating some of the items that were found in the trunk area.
And what are these items?
It's gonna be a bag of black zip ties, a box of blue gloves, and a black glove.
And do these correspond in any way to items that you located at the original crime scene in this case?
They were similar, yes.
Then Exhibit 208.
That's gonna be some firearms that were located under some of the clothing and other items that were on top of it.
And how about Exhibit 209?
That's gonna be more pictures of the trunk area after removing those previous items.
And Exhibit 210?
That's gonna be again another picture of the trunk area with more of the items that have been removed.
Exhibit 211?
That's gonna be a black backpack that was located in the trunk.
212?
That's gonna be a close-up of some of the interior of the backpack, indicating what was inside of it.
And are we starting to see what appear to be red bandanas inside that black backpack?
Yes,
How about in Exhibit 213? What are you emphasizing with this photograph?
that's gonna be a bag of some sort of substance, possible paraphernalia.
You said paraphernalia. Do you mean to indicate some sort of suspected narcotics?
Yes.
Okay.
possibly.
Now, in Exhibit 214, what are you documenting?
That's gonna be more pictures of the trunk area again, with more of the items that have already been removed.
How about Exhibit 215?
That's gonna be one of the bags that was in the trunk area.
And what does it appear to contain?
I believe that one had quite a few live ammunition rounds in there.
Exhibit 216?
It's gonna be another photograph of the trunk area with more items that have been removed.
Okay, and we can now see like I might call it a fanny pack, a plaid fanny pack there in the trunk.
Yes, I believe so.
And then in Exhibit 217, is that same bag or pack?
Yes, it is, and it's showing the contents of what was located inside of it.
Okay. And 218?
That's gonna be more of a focus of the contents inside, showing possible narcotics.
219?
That's gonna be another picture, just a closer picture of the trunk space area, indicating what's in there.
220?
So that's gonna be that bag that was featured in the previous picture, showing the contents that are inside.
And Exhibit 221?
That's gonna be a close-up of the same bag, showing a better focus on what was inside.
And what types of items are we seeing inside that bag?
If I recall, I believe there may have been some live rounds in there, some live ammunition, along with gun cleaning equipment.
How about in Exhibit 222?
That's gonna be one of the bags, the black backpacks that was located in the trunk.
Okay. We see it on what appears to be like brown paper of some sort. Is that a routine part of a search process?
Yes, whenever I'm dealing with evidence, typically I want to put our evidence on a cleaner surface. I'm not going to just put it on our garage floor. So we'll take some parchment paper, lay it out, and lay down the evidence there.
And as part of that process, you also start to separate out the contents of items to better depict them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in Exhibit 223, what are you showing?
It's going to be the interior of that same backpack in the previous picture, showing possible narcotics.
And 224?
That's going to be a box of Winchester rounds that was located in the box. I can't recall if there was anything in it or not.
Well, the next exhibit might remind you, 225, what are we looking at?
That's going to be the interior of that same box.
And it appears to be mostly empty from what I can tell.
Yes, there were no rounds in there.
Okay. How about exhibit 226?
That's going to show the contents of the brown box that was in the trunk area.
Okay. And is that further suspected narcotics?
Yes.
Okay. And 227?
That's documenting some pieces of evidence that we had found in the trunk area. It appears to be more possible narcotics.
Laid out on that brown parchment paper for a better view.
Yes.
Okay. How about 228?
That's going to be a black bag that was located in the trunk. I believe that was full of medical equipment like bandages, gauze, things like that.
And exhibit 229?
That's going to be more documentation of what was in the contents, just opening some of the boxes in there.
And exhibit 230?
That's going to be showing the interior of the plastic bag. I believe that those are the contents is cough drops.
Okay. And exhibit 231?
That's going to show the interior of another plastic bag. I'm not quite certain what's in that from this angle.
Okay. How about exhibit 232?
That's going to be a notebook that was located in the same trunk area.
Okay. I want to focus on some of the writing that's down at the bottom, not appearing to be in list form. Can you read for the jury what that writing indicates? It should be on your screen as well, closer to you, is it not?
I don't have it.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
I can turn it on if you like.
It might help him. He seems like he might have a little trouble seeing it from a distance.
Okay, so the bottom portion appears to read Clinton Highway, go behind Carn Store. First response, sprinkle systems job.
How about exhibit 233? What are you documenting now?
That's going to be the back seat of the passenger side of the BMW.
Okay. And in exhibit 234,
That's going to be a live round that was located in there. So a piece of ammo that had not been fired off.
okay, and we're looking at the floorboard of the back passenger area of the interior of the car.
Yes.
And then in exhibit 235,
That's showing the contents of a different black backpack, just various paperwork that was located in there.
exhibit 236,
That's going to be an overall view of some of the evidence that was located in the trunk area.
so were 3 distinct firearms located in the trunk of that vehicle?
Yes.
And we also see some different magazines or other accessories for those firearms.
Yes.
Okay. Then exhibit 237.
That's going to be a close-up of one of the firearms that was located.
Could we actually go back to exhibit 236 there? I want to point your attention to the middle firearm there. Does it appear to have a double drum magazine attached to it in that photograph?
Yes, it does.
Okay, now jumping forward to 238. Is that same firearm with that double drum magazine now removed from it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Exhibit 239.
That's going to be a close-up of the same firearm that we just saw. Also showing the live round that was still in the weapon, what we call chambers. So the next shot that would have been fired would have been that live round that's on that piece of paper.
How about Exhibit 240?
That's going to be one of the other firearms. Again, the weapon has been cleared out. The live ammunition that's standing up right behind the handle was also chambered, so that would have been the next one to have been fired off if it was fired.
How about 241?
That's going to be another picture of some of the possible narcotics that was found.
242?
That's going to be another picture of the same weapon that I took before.
And 243?
That appears to be the same firearm from the previous picture, just taken from a different angle. The firearm was flipped around to get the other side.
Okay. And what's the purpose of taking it from different angles?
To get an overall picture as to whatever the evidence may be, to see it from all different angles, and just indicating whether something is or isn't there.
Looking for like manufacturing markers, labels, things like that.
In this case, yes, particularly with the firearm. Generally, I will take a closer picture later after this into showing the serial number of said firearms.
Okay. So moving on to Exhibit 244, is that what you're doing, is a close-up of that serial number and manufacturer's markings?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How about Exhibit 245?
That's going to be getting another overall picture of one of the firearms, doing the same thing, documenting what it looks like.
And 246?
This is going to be more documentation of one of the other firearms.
247?
That's going to be that same firearm from the previous picture, just with the firearm flipped around.
And 248?
That's going to be a close-up of that same firearm, indicating the manufacturer and the serial number.
And 249?
That's going to be a picture of some of the red bandanas that were located in the vehicle.
250?
That's going to be a picture of one of the articles of clothing that was located in the vehicle.
Was that inside that blue duffel bag?
It may have been, I don't recall.
Okay. How about Exhibit 251?
That's going to be the same article of clothing, just flipped around to see the backside.
And 252?
That's going to be another article of clothing. This one, if I do recall, was located in that duffel bag.
And 253?
It's going to be that same clothing, just seen from the backside.
254?
That's going to be another article of clothing. That was, I do believe this one was located in the duffel bag.
255?
This is the backside of that same clothing from the previous picture.
Okay. And 256?
So this is after the double drum magazine was emptied out and all the ammunition was counted. So it's showing the firearm that was paired with the double, with the magazine, the individual live round that was in the chamber, and then all the contents that was in the magazine.
So if I'm understanding that correct, you're indicating there were 75 rounds contained within that double drum, and then one was in the chamber, for a total of 76.
Yes.
Okay. How about our next exhibit, 257?
So same concept with this one, showing the firearm and the magazine that was paired with it, with its contents emptied out. These magazines were somewhat put together. They were labeled as magazine A, magazine B. So you see on the parchment what rounds were in magazine A. On the top and the bottom was magazine B. And then by the handle of the firearm, you'll see the light round that was also chambered in the weapon. That, again, would have been the next round to have been fired off.
Okay. How about Exhibit 258?
So same concept again with the third firearm. Also had two magazines strapped together, magazine A, magazine B. You'll see the contents that was in both of those along with the individual round that was in the chamber.
Okay, and we can see in your photograph on that magazine to the bottom right of the photo, there appears to be a marked A on that magazine. Did it come like that, or was that marking added to help track it or keep up with it?
If I recall correctly, I think there was 3 detectives helping me with this, and they were helping with counting and clearing out the weapons and with the ammunition. And I believe they did mark the magazines with A and B appropriately.
Okay. Then how about Exhibit 259?
So this is showing 2 additional magazines that were located in the trunk area with its contents emptied out and how much ammunition was in there.
And Exhibit 260?
These are going to be 3 black hoodies that were located in the trunk of the vehicle.
And then 261?
This is going to be an ID that was found in the vehicle.
And can you read for us who the ID belongs to?
Yes, it's going to be Latwain, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, Osborne.
Okay. And those are all of our photos. So to correct the record, those would be Exhibits 193 through 261.
All right, very well. 193 through 261. So the next exhibit will be 260.
So similar to what we talked about with regard to the search of the home, the items that you depict here in your photographs, were you responsible for collecting into evidence some of those items?
Yes, I was.
And do you follow the same protocol for the collection of potential items of evidence from a vehicle as you do from a crime scene that may be a home or business?
Yes.
If I were to show you a selection of the items that you collected from this crime scene, would you recognize it?
Yes.
All right, folks, I see a hand indicating that we can take a break, so it's right about that time. I'm going to stay on recess for 10 minutes, folks. We're going to discuss this case amongst yourselves. See you back in about 10 minutes. folks, it appears that we have all the necessary parties here, so let's go back to the record, State Tennessee versus Marquis Ellis, case 127449. Is the state ready to resume their direct?
State ready.
All right, that's ready to receive the jury as well?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring them on. Everyone may be seated and stay with the call. That's what it's called.
Wait, call, Judge.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still in the direct examination of crime scene technician, so gentlemen may continue.
May I approach?
You may.
Show you a larger collection bag and ask you if you recognize your markings or the markings on that bag.
Yes, I do.
Can you open up that bag and let us know if you recognize the contents inside?
Yes. Yes, I do recognize the contents.
Okay. Let's walk through these maybe more individually. Gonna show you what I am marking as exhibit number 262. What do you recognize this item to be?
This is going to be the box of for Winchester ammunition that was previously empty of any light ammunition.
Okay. And that was collected from the trunk of the BMW vehicle we've just shown your photographs.
Yes.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as exhibit 262.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, let me receive this. 262.
Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to mark as exhibit 263. Do you recognize
Is that how they were found?
No, they were not found like that. If I recall, it was not, the box was not smushed, nor the contents removed from it.
All right, very well. Without further objection, I will receive collected at 265.
We have a bag here. Do you recognize the bag and its contents?
Yes, this is one of the bags located from the trunk of the BMW containing several boxes of the sandwich bags.
Okay. I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as exhibit 266.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, I will receive it at 266.
And then you also had a loose sandwich bag box. Did that originally come from this same exhibit number 266, or was it collected separately?
I'm not 100%. I don't look at the packaging in my paperwork, but it may have come from there or it may have been loose.
Okay. Well, at this time, I'd move that into evidence as exhibit 267. Nonetheless, you recognize this to be something you collected from the BMW in this case?
Yes.
Any objection?
No.
All right, I will receive it at 267.
I'm marking this item as exhibit 268. Do you recognize this item?
Yes, it's going to be another one of the boxes of sandwich bags located from the BMW.
And again, on some of these items, we see what appears to be powder on the outside of those. Is that how those items were found, or is that a consequence of further processing of those items?
That's not how they were found. It was further processed back at our lab, just like with the previous bag zip ties. That was from the original crime scene. Our latent print examiners were also looking for more fingerprints on these boxes, so they used powders and different chemicals to try to locate any.
Now, I'm going to pre-mark this as exhibit 269. Do you recognize this packaging?
Yes, this would have been the packaging for the 3 black face masks.
Can you open that up and make sure you recognize them to be the same?
Yes. One. Two. And 3.
Has to move that into evidence as state's collective exhibit 269.
Any objection? All right, those will be received collectively as 269.
Now I'm handing you a box that I've labeled as exhibit 270. Can you take a look at the labeling on that box and see if you recognize it?
Yes, this would not have been my original packaging. However, the content does state that it's going to contain some magazines and ammunition.
Can you open up that box and examine the contents to determine if you recognize those to be the same ammunition you collected from the BMW in this
138 rounds as LC 22 live rounds. The next one has one 5.56 live round. The next one is 60, and the head stamp set at 7.62 by 39 live round. The next one is going to be one 70 millimeter buckshot live round. The next one is going to be two empty Talamo boxes in this packaging. This one contains two loose magazines in addition to 23.223 live rounds, and those were from a combination of the two loose magazines. This next package has 7 9mm rounds, also with the magazine that it came from. This next package also has 7 9mm rounds with the magazine that it came from. This package is going to contain a magazine that can hold up to 18 rounds. There's no ammunition in this one. This one is going to contain 34 22 live rounds, so I believe the caliber is a 22. This one is going to contain 52 7.62 live rounds. And the last one here is going to contain 76 LC 22 live rounds.
And all of those reflected from the VFW in this case.
Yes.
Okay, we leave that in evidence as collective exhibit 2.
Thank you, Council. All right, so you received collectively 207.
this is going to contain some gun cleaning kit of sorts, along with some loose items still pertaining to cleaning firearms.
And all of these items were collected from the BMW.
Yes.
I'd like to move these collectively into evidence as Exhibit 271.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, no objection, those will be received collectively as 271.
Show you what I'm marking as Exhibit 272. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, this would have been packaging for some DNA swabs that I took of the BMW.
Can you open that just to make sure you recognize those to be the same swabs that you took of the BMW?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be the same packaging.
And can you indicate for the jury what parts of the BMW did you swab in this case?
Yes, it's going to be, for this packaging, 6 different locations. First one was the interior driver door handle. The second one was the interior passenger door handle. The next one was the exterior passenger side door handle. The next one is going to be the double barrel magazine that was marked as for the PA-15. I believe that's going to be for the firearm. The next one is going to be the exterior passenger side door handle of the BMW. And then the last one is the exterior driver's side door handle of the BMW.
I'd like to move those into evidence at this time as collective Exhibit 272.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, those will be received collectively as 272.
And now I'm showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 273. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, this is going to be, it's marked as a 308 Winchester casing with a brush.
And can you open that item up and make sure you do recognize it?
Yes. Yes, I do recognize it.
Okay. And is that the item we saw depicted in the back passenger floorboard of that BMW?
I'm not sure. This may have been located within the bag that contained the cleaning kit with various other materials, only because there was a brush. I believe that there's a brush stuck in here.
Okay. I'd like to move that into evidence at this time as Exhibit 273.
Any objection?
No objection.
That'll be received as 273.
And now I'm handing you what's been marked as Exhibit 274. Do you recognize that packaging?
Yes, it's going to be additional DNA swabs.
Okay, of what?
It's going to be more firearm, some magazines, the BMW, and of the firearms themselves.
So did you take swabs of the firearms and magazines that you collected from the BMW in this case?
Yes.
Will you open up that packaging and make sure you recognize that to be the swabs that you took.
Yes. Yes, this is going to be the original packaging.
I'd like to move that into evidence collectively as Exhibit 274.
Any objection? Those are received collectively as 274.
And can you indicate, before we move on to a different exhibit, what different items or parts of the firearms-related evidence you swabbed?
Do you want me to list everything that's on here?
Yes.
So the first one is going to be swabs of the A and B magazine of Stag, which is going to be whatever magazine the Stag was associated with. The next one is going to be swabs of the interior rear driver's side door handles of the BMW. The next one is DNA swabs of the interior rear passenger door handles of the BMW. The next one is swabs of the A and B magazine of the Anderson firearm. The next one is swabs of the air control knob of the BMW. Next one is going to be swabs of the gear shift of the BMW. Next one is swabs of the grip, the trigger, and the slide of the Anderson firearm. The next one is swabs of the steering wheel of the BMW. The next one is swabs of the exterior rear driver's side door handle of the BMW. The next one is swabs of the grip, the trigger, and the slide of the Stag firearm. And the last one is the swabs of the grip, the trigger, and the slide of the PA-15 firearm.
I'm going to show you what I'm marking for ID purposes. That's 275. You recognize this packaging?
Yes, this packaging is what I used to contain the different magazines that were with the firearms located in the BMW.
Can you open up that exhibit and make sure you recognize its contents?
Yes.
do you recognize that to be one of the firearms collected from the BMW in this case?
Yes.
And what type of firearm is that?
It's going to be, it's labeled as by Anderson Manufacturing, possibly an AM-15.
We can move that into evidence at this time as Exhibit 277.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, that will be received as Exhibit 277.
And are there still any items located in the bag?
Yes, one more.
Can you pull that out and let us know if you recognize it? Do you recognize that to be the third firearm collected from the BMW?
I do.
This time I'd like to move that into evidence as Exhibit 278.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, that will be received as Exhibit 278.
And before you hand it over, what type of firearm is that indicated to be?
So it looks like to be done by Palmetto, labeled as a PA-15.
Thank you. Now, I have shown you, and you've shown the jury, several of the items you collected, but in your original photographs, we see you collecting narcotics from the BMW. Once those narcotics were collected into evidence, were they turned over to any person in particular for further testing?
I would have just turned them into our property evidence department. What happens after that, I'm not 100%. But I'm sure that someone else would have gotten a hold of it to do some sort of testing.
So when you collected the narcotics in this case, they went into the secure evidence facility or
Yes.
property facility?
Yes.
And then they would have been available for checkout by anybody wanting to do further testing on those items?
Yes.
Okay. May I have just a second? Pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Harper, you recognized for cross-examination.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Ramirez, we'll start at the BMW, okay? Now, the DNA swabs that you did of the BMW, we didn't see similar photographs as the crime scene. Is that because there wasn't anything obvious to you that you were swabbing for? Like when you swabbed the door handle? You wouldn't take a picture like you did of the post at the home where there appeared to be blood splatter on it. You took a picture with the swab in front of that, correct?
Back on the original scene, yes, I did take
Okay.
pictures of that.
Okay. So when you get to the BMW, you don't use that same process?
I happened to not do that process with the BMW.
Okay. So all of the BMW components, the handles, the air controller, the gear shift, all those things, you didn't photograph anything before with the swabs like you did at Gilbert?
Correct. I did not take pictures of the swabs with what I was going to swab
Okay.
with the BMW.
And you're in the garage at KPD doing this, correct?
Yes.
You're not on scene, there's no extrinsic things going on, you're in a controlled environment, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, you did the same thing with the firearms, but you didn't photograph the swabs at which firearms you were swabbing?
No, I did not take pictures of that, but I did specify specifically what part of the firearm I was swabbing.
Okay, and you testified grip, trigger, slide, right?
Yes.
So is that one swab, two swab, three swabs, or grip, trigger, slide is one swab?
It's going to be, it should be one swab, well, a set of two. So the package comes with two, so the whole thing would have been used on those specific areas. So one package would have swabbed all three of the grip, the trigger, and the slide.
And then repeat with the second swab?
I would have used them together.
Oh, so you don't do them individually, you swab
Yes,
two, like two fingers, just swab here? Okay.
exactly.
When you do firearms like that, or do you have to use the moistening agent or something, or do you just dry swab on there?
No, what I'll typically use is we'll use a different moistening agent. We'll use acetone. Normally because depending on how we process the guns for fingerprints, we might put them in our super glue chamber, which would therefore put some residue on there. So if we have that residue on there, it helps to put some of the acetone on there to try to rehydrate some of the possible DNA that might be left behind.
Okay. And were you aware of whether or not these had been sent to any other forensics before you? Well, they could have been, because you discovered them in the trunk, right?
Are you referring to
The firearms.
No. I discovered them in the vehicle, and once I was finished with them, I turned them into our temporary firearm storage, which would have been examined by our firearms examiner.
Okay. So you swabbed them before they went on for any further testing?
Yes.
Now, those collective items there with the ammunition in there, are you the one who's writing the calibers and those things on the packaging?
Yes.
Okay. Are you calling out numbers to somebody else, or are you physically doing, you're visually counting them out and then recording that on the package?
Yes, I'm looking at each individual round and counting them and sorting them appropriately to their respective caliber, and more specifically with the headstones that match. Because there might be some calibers that are similar, but the writings will be different, so I'll separate those.
Okay. Now, there was a round found in the back seat or in the floorboard back seat behind the passenger side.
Yes.
It appears from the photograph that at least at some point in time there was a floor mat covering that. Is the photograph that you're introduced here today, is that the way it was when you saw it, or did the floor mat have to be removed to reveal that?
I'd have to refer back to the pictures, but I do believe the floor mat was on top of it, and I would have had to look under it and thus finding the casing in the back.
Okay. And so there were some other detectives there on scene helping you do this?
Yes. More specifically, they were helping with the firearm side of things and handling of the narcotics, but they did help some with some of the searching.
Okay. Well, obviously, until you get into it, you don't know what you're going to find, if anything. So were they present from did you all arrive at the same time?
Yes, I couldn't do any work on the vehicle until the signed warrant was present, and so work didn't start until the three detectives showed up with the warrant.
Okay. And you testified a little bit about the tape that is on the vehicle and that it was still in place. What happens to that tape if you open a door? Does it just pull off, or does it tear? Or can it do both? How does that?
I'm sure both can happen. I've never tested it myself, but the tape itself is very fragile, so I can only imagine that it would just tear if you try to open the door.
Okay. So if you've never tried it yourself, you always take it off before you open the door?
No, I don't remove it, I'll open the door, and then the tape does stay intact, but it's not something I've ever really paid attention to with intent to see what happens with the tape.
And did you collect that first aid kit that was found in the trunk?
I'm not 100%, I would have to refer back to the paperwork with evidence.
Did it appear to be manufactured by the BMW? Did it appear to be part of the vehicle, or did it appear to be something that was aftermarket or bought out, store-bought?
I think it was probably store-bought. I could be wrong, but it looked like it was maybe a prepackaged thing with just bandages and some sort of kit that was put together.
Put together for resale. I mean, it was put together and sold as a kit.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to Gilbert for a minute. And as part of your training, do you do a walkthrough before you photograph anything, or what's the initial step there?
It depends on the scene. Typically, I do like to do a walkthrough before I'll take pictures. However, I will be sure to not be touching or moving things that would affect any type of evidence or stepping over anything like that. Just to get a general layout as to where the main scene may be and kind of what to keep an eye out for.
Okay. So it sounds to me like we're talking about a sort of a three-step process. You do a walkthrough, right? And then you do a walkthrough and you photograph everything as it is. So that'd be a second trip, right?
Yes.
And then the third is you have evidence markers. So that's a third trip through that you're photographing with the evidence markers in place.
Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, I guess some detectives were either on scene or arrived there because you had a conversation with them about the cell phones.
Yes.
And they wanted, that was priority of them, that they wanted those to be released from the scene to be taken elsewhere for examination.
Yes.
Okay. Did they explain anything to you about, or do you get information about the nature of the crime that you're there for? I mean, does it come out as a shooting, a stabbing, a strangulation? Or are you aware of what the crime that you're there to document?
Yes, initially I'll have some basic information upon first getting dispatched to the call, just a general information as to what's going on. In this case, I don't recall it. It could have been relayed to me as a shooting that occurred. And then I also am able to see notes from dispatch that they took from the 911 callers. And upon arriving on scene, I'll also get debriefed by officers or detectives, whoever I make contact with, as to get more information as to what's going on scene.
Okay, and in that debrief, you're sort of given real live on scene location about what's going on. That's better than just a radio call or notes that you've read.
Yes.
Now, the medical examiner is on scene as well when you're there, or arrives at some point in time while you're there?
Yes, it's case by case. In this particular incident, they arrived sometime after I finished doing my overall pictures of the scene.
Okay. And what happens after you finish with your photography, when you leave? Is the crime scene, is it over with at that point in time, or do you close the crime scene, or does it remain inactive?
I'm not entirely sure as to what the process is with that. I will turn it over from my end to the detectives or the officers or whoever it is that's remaining on scene, letting them know that I'm done with my portion. And if someone is still there on scene, I will clarify with them if they need anything else from me, if I overlook something, and, you know, I'll do what it is I need to do. And then what happens after that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, let's talk about these, what you call possible or potential defects that you photographed. We didn't see anything that was very close up. But what we saw here today is the closest that you have for the defects?
I'm not sure. I have to refer back to my pictures. I normally would have taken closer pictures of each individual defects. I'm not sure that's the case with this one, but looking at everything I took.
Okay. Would it make a difference if these possible defects are in cinder block versus a smooth wall? You know, where it's more obvious. These were not as obvious to you as they would be on a sheetrock wall, for instance.
Yes, they're definitely not obvious. That's why I keep referring to them as possible defects, especially with it being brick. It's hard to tell whether it was done by shooting from a firearm or if those were already there or scuffed from furniture or something else.
And if I may approach, Judge.
Sure.
Judge Weston Mark introduced his evidence as Exhibit 180. You recognize that?
I do.
Can you tell from that photograph, or can you tell the jury from your taking that photograph, does that appear to be an exit, an entry into that, or can you tell?
I can't tell.
Is there a photograph of the other side of that pole, or?
Yes, I would have taken the pictures from both sides because there was one on each side of the pole.
So there's a hole, you recall there being a hole on the other side?
Yes.
So it's through and through this pole?
Yes.
On an occasion like this, would there be any benefit to you to possibly putting a rod or something through that hole to show the angle of trajectory?
It could have been done. As for it being beneficial, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure if it would have been beneficial with that one. I can tell you it was not used.
You didn't do it?
No.
Okay. You've done it in other occasions?
Yes.
Now, were you called back out to the scene to do more, to examine more evidence or collect more evidence?
No, I was not.
If I may have a second.
Yes, sir.
initially, no. And it was not relayed to me by anybody else on the scene to take further look into the red jacket sweater.
So blood-soaked clothing would not be of interest to the crime scene tech in the homicide case?
I was not aware of that having blood on it at the time.
That's all I have, Judge.
Redirection.
No redirect.
All right, so you said that, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Jennifer, you probably next witness.
So we call Rachel Warren.
Ms. Warren, if you raise your right hand and be sworn, you solemnly swear or affirm testimony about you in this trial, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Ms. Warren, will you start by stating your name?
Yes, it's Rachel Warren,
And can you spell that for our court reporter?
Rachel, and then Warren,
Ms. Warren, where are you employed at?
the Knoxville Police Department.
And what do you do for the Knoxville Police Department?
I'm currently the crime scene supervisor.
Okay. How long have you held that position?
Just since late September, early October,
Of 2024 or 2025?
2025.
Okay. What position did you hold prior to your promotion?
I was a crime scene technician.
And we've already heard a little bit about what crime scene technicians do, so I'm not going to ask you to repeat that, but have you received any sort of specialized training or education in that area?
Yes, I'm a graduate of the National Forensic Academy, and I'm also a certified senior crime scene analyst through the International Association of Identification.
Okay. Were you called upon to assist in the investigation of a homicide and attempted murders that had occurred on Gilbert Lane back on April 5th of 2024?
Yes.
Where were you called to assist on that actual date, the April 5th?
May I look at my notes, please?
Can she refresh her recollection by referring to her notes?
Sure.
What was the question?
What date was she initially called to assist?
I was initially called on April 5th of 2024.
Okay. And was there a specific location that you were asked to assist at initially?
Yes, it was 606 Walker Street.
And what part of town is Walker Street?
It's off of Sutherland Avenue, kind of in between Sutherland, Liberty, and Division.
And the location that you were there to assist at 606 Walker, what type of location was that?
It was a residence, a house.
And what was your understanding of the importance or the connection of that residence at 606 Walker to the ongoing investigation?
From my understanding, there had been a rape that had occurred there a few days prior.
Okay. What was your understanding of the work that was to be completed at that Walker Street location?
There was a search warrant for the house as well as several vehicles that were there.
Okay. Did you take photographs of the home as it was searched?
I took photographs of the vehicles and the home.
Okay. If I were to show you a selection of your photographs, would you recognize them?
Yes.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Showing you would have been pre-marked as exhibits 279 through 303. We look through these and make sure you recognize those to be photographs that you took on scene at 606 Walker.
Yes, I took these.
And they're true and accurate depictions of what you saw there on that scene.
Yes.
I'd like to move those into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, those will be received as exhibits 279 through 303, and you may publish.
Ms. Warren, starting with Exhibit 279, can you describe for the jury what you're documenting in this first photograph?
Yes, this is a photo that shows the house along with the 5 vehicles that were there.
In Exhibit 280, what are you documenting?
The street address.
And Exhibit 281,
This is just another view of the home and the 5 vehicles.
okay, so we've got 5 vehicles out front. Are any of those 5 vehicles a silver BMW?
No.
In Exhibit 282, what are you
And
documenting?
This is the front door of the home.
Exhibit 283,
Another view of the living room area.
and 284,
And this starts getting into the living room.
and 285,
Another shot of the living room.
286,
And I'm just panning around to show the entire room.
287,
Just another view of the living room and then leading into the back part of the house.
288,
There was a great value ammonia bottle on the coffee table.
289,
And just another photo of the bottle.
290,
And this is a bedroom that's behind where the TV was sitting.
291,
And this is me just starting to pan around the room, the bedroom.
and 292,
And just another view showing the top portion of the bed
and 293,
and the mid portion of the bed.
294,
And kind of the rear of the room.
295,
And this is another view of the bed, just me standing at the base of it.
296,
I was asked to collect the bedding, so I did that, and then I just took a photo of the pillows.
and was the bedding of interest because there was that ongoing rape investigation?
Yes,
Okay. And Exhibit 297, is that the same ammonia bottle we saw previously in your photographs?
it is.
It now looks to be different, have like a dark colored powder on it. Can you explain that?
Yes, I swabbed the handle and the lid, and then I processed it for fingerprints, so the black coloration is fingerprint powder.
Okay. When you say swab, are you talking about the collection of potential DNA evidence?
Yes.
And when you collect swabs, what method do you follow?
We use the wet dry method.
Can you explain that?
Yes, so our swabs are basically long Q-tips, and we wet one of them, we have 2 in a set. We wet one of them kind of to rehydrate the skin cells, and then we'll run the swabs around whatever surface we're trying to get DNA off of.
Okay. And in Exhibit 298, are we just looking at a closer up photo of that same ammonia bottle?
Yes,
And And 299, is that just from a different angle?
Yes.
And Exhibit 300, what are we looking at now?
This is the rear of the house. And the back door.
And Exhibit 301, I'm sorry, 302 now.
Right inside that back door, there was a reddish brown stain on the floor that one of the detectives wanted me to swab.
And Exhibit 303, is that just a closer up of that same reddish brown stain?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you talked about not only swabbing that ammonia bottle for DNA, but also then processing it for fingerprints. Were you able to collect any successful fingerprints from that item?
No, it was not.
Okay. Besides the work that you completed there on April 5th at UT, or at 606 Walker, did you assist at any other locations?
I did.
What is the next location that you assisted at in this case?
I went to UT Hospital.
And what date did you go to UT Hospital on?
That was the next day on the 6th.
And what was the purpose of your trip to UT Hospital?
They had called us to come pick up some evidence. They had retrieved a projectile from Katia, her arm.
Okay. And did you collect the projectile that they had collected from Miss Young's arm?
Yes.
If I were to show you some of the items that you collected during the course of this investigation, do you think you'd recognize them?
Yes.
May I approach?
You may.
First, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as Exhibit 304. Can you look at that packaging and let me know if you recognize it?
Yes, it's the, it contains the swabs from the ammonia bottle.
Can you open that up and just make sure that you recognize those to be the same swabs that you took?
Yes, these are the swabs I took.
I'd like to move those into evidence collectively at this time as Exhibit 304.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, they'll be received as exhibit 304 collectively.
Now, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 305. Do you recognize the packaging for that item?
Yes, this is the bullet that was removed from the right elbow of Katia Young and the confiscation form from UT Hospital.
Okay. We open that up and make sure you recognize it to be the same item you collected from UT Hospital.
Yes, this is it. This is their chain of custody paperwork.
That the hospital provided to you.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to move that into evidence as the same collective exhibit, which was 305.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
All right, they'll be received collectively as 305.
Did you also collect items from the medical examiner's office in this case after the autopsy was completed?
I did.
On what date did you collect items of evidence from the medical examiner's office?
I believe it was the 10th. It was April 10th.
And is
of red stains from right leg and swab of red stains from left leg.
Now, for these particular swabs, these are not swabs that you personally took, but they're something you collected from the medical examiner's office?
Correct.
Okay. I'd ask to move that into evidence at this time.
Any objection? No. All right, that'll be received, is that 306?
Yes, exhibit
All right.
306.
306.
And then exhibit 307, do you recognize this to be an item that you collected at the completion of the autopsy in this case?
Yes, this is another rape kit that was done on Danishka.
Okay. You say another. Were there two rape kits performed on Ms. Mejia in this case?
Well, there was the one that had been previously been done, and it had a different case number.
Okay. So one was done while she was still alive and reporting the rape,
Yes,
and then a second kit was also collected during the course of her autopsy.
yes,
And is this the kit that was collected during the course of her autopsy?
yes.
I'd like to move that into evidence at this time.
Any objection? No. All right, that'll be received as 307.
Contained within a rape kit, is it typical to have what's called a buccal swab as part of that kit?
Yes,
And that's the victim's DNA standard.
yes,
Did you take photographs of the collection process for the bullet at UT Hospital?
yes,
If I were to show you those photographs, would you recognize them?
yes.
May I approach? Do you recognize these two photographs?
Yes, I do.
And are those true and accurate photographs of how you received the bullet from UT Hospital?
Yes,
I'd like to move those into evidence at this time.
Any objection? No good. All right, the numbers is at 309 and 310?
I have them as 308 and 309.
308 and 309. All right, they'll be received as such.
So looking here at 308, is this the packaging that you originally received that item in?
yes,
And moving on to exhibit 309.
yes, and that was what was inside the packaging.
Okay. As part of your job within the Knoxville Police Department, are you frequently called upon to deliver items of evidence that are collected during the course of an investigation to the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's crime lab?
Yes.
Can you describe that process? How do you typically receive and transport items to the TBI lab for further testing?
The detective is the one who would normally fill out the request, and they generally decide what we send. I'll look over it to make sure, nothing's missing, such as the standard for the victim or a possible suspect if we have it. And so I'll receive those in, and I will send our property unit an email stating what all I need to pick up at a certain date. And then I'll go sign that out, chain of custody purposes, and I will transport it to TBI.
Okay. And when you transport items of evidence to the TBI lab, do you travel in your vehicle to do that?
Yes,
And do you typically make any stops, or do you go straight to the crime lab?
I go straight there.
Okay. And once TBI is done with their testing process, are you also often responsible for picking up those items again from the crime lab?
Yes.
And when you receive items back from the TBI, what's done with those items?
I take them back to our headquarters, and I take them to property where they sign them back in.
And were you asked to be the custodian of evidence in this case that was delivered from KPD's evidence storage to the TBI
Yes,
And were there many, many items that you delivered in this case?
there were.
Do you have a list of what all you helped assist in transporting and delivering to the TBI in this case?
Yes,
Can you let the jury know what items that you took from KPD's property unit to TBI?
yes. And do you want the locations where the items were collected as well, or just the items?
It might be helpful for you to give a description of where those items came from.
Okay, these aren't necessarily in order, the PIR, which is the property inventory report, so, from 3206 Gilbert Lane, I took, LC 22 casings with RBS. Those were marked as evidence numbers 8, 6, 14, 13, 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Let me pause you there. When you say RBS, what is that short for?
It's short for reddish brown stain.
Okay. And although you can't draw a conclusion whether that reddish brown stain is or is not blood, it's shorthand for something that is suspected to be blood.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, from 606 Walker Street, I took the swabs from the Great Value ammonia handle. I took the swabs from the Great Value ammonia lid. I took the gray and black mainstays comforter that was on top of the bed. The gray and black mainstays comforter that was underneath that top comforter. I took the mainstays gray fitted sheet, the mainstays gray flat sheet, 4 gray pillowcases, and 2 gray and black pillowcases. I took the swabs from the RBS in the floor in the area in front of the back door. Back from 3206 Gilbert Lane, I took 9mm Luger FC casings. They were marked as evidence numbers 5, 11, 13, and 20, and it says they had RBS on them. I took the 9mm Luger Blazer casing marked as evidence marker 12. I took the 20 VNM casing marked as evidence marker 7 with RBS. From Gilbert Lane, I took swabs from the handle of a kitchen knife. From 606 Walker, I took a Walmart bag containing 3 packages of face masks, and I think they were marked as heart. And that came from a 2006 white Chevrolet Silverado, tag 931BDSP. From Gilbert Lane, I took a black comforter, black bed liner, black pillow sheet, dark gray pillow sheet, gray shirt with pink ribbon, a black eye mask, black hair tie, blue jeans with RBS, marked as evidence marker 39, plastic water bottle, marked as evidence marker 34, plastic water bottle, evidence marker 33, black zip tie, evidence marker 22, gray bra, evidence marker 32, red underwear, evidence marker 27, blue glove, evidence marker 26, purple glove, evidence marker 29, pink underwear, evidence marker 30, box of condoms with 3 packets, evidence marker 31, gray glove, evidence marker 36, DNA swabs of basement trail with RBS, DNA swabs of basement counter, DNA swabs of pillar in basement with RBS, plastic bag with blue glove, evidence marker 35, 5 fragments with RBS, marked as evidence marker 9, 10, 25, 41, and 42, 2 projectiles with RBS marked as evidence marker I'm not sure what he's written there. He's written something, and then there's a comma, and it says 40. It may be evidence marker 4 and 40, but I'm not positive. These were taken at our headquarters at 1650 Huron Street. A GSR kit, which is a gunshot residue kit for Laton Osborne, swabs of RBS on right palm of Laton Osborne. These were also taken at our headquarters from a 2012 red Cadillac SRX, tag BPF 0925. There was swabs of RBS on glove box exterior, swabs of RBS on front passenger seat, swabs of RBS on rear passenger door window frame, swabs of RBS on rear passenger door window. Also at our headquarters, GSR kit on Ezra Mosella. Also at headquarters, nail scrapings for right and left hand for Trey Blevins, GSR kit for Trey Blevins, Hanes blue and green plaid underwear, and 1 black shorts, size large, Fruit of the Loom black sweatpants, size large, pair of black polo crew socks, pair of Nike black Air Jordan shoes, size 11.5, Fruit of the Loom white tank top, size medium, Tanu Harlem black V-neck t-shirt, size large, Tanu Harlem black thermal long sleeve shirt, size large, Fruit of the Loom black zip-up hoodie, size 2XL. These were taken from our headquarters as well, from Chase Blevins. Nail scrapings for right and left hands for Chase Blevins, GSR kit for Chase Blevins, UGG pair of black slip-on shoes, size 10, Wrangler black thermal pants, size large, Fruit of the Loom black tank top, size large, Nike gray sweatpants, size extra large, long sleeved Wrangler black thermal shirt, size large, 23 engineered black and red hoodie, size large. These were taken from a person named Edward Wilson, black tennis shoes, black jacket, black sweatpants, white t-shirt, and white undershirt. These were recovered from UT Hospital and belong to Laton Osborne. A gray and black polo, no-show socks, 1 pair. Plaid men's Fruit of the Loom boxer shorts, size XL, cut with RBS. Black polo jogging pants, size large, cut with RBS. White t-shirt, no size visible, cut with RBS. Back from Gilbert Lane, I've got a white hand towel with RBS. And these were from our headquarters and from the silver BMW, tag BFM 7669. I've got 3 black face masks, DNA swabs of A and B magazine of Stag, DNA swabs of interior rear driver's side door handles, DNA swabs of interior rear passenger side door handles of BMW, DNA swabs of A and B mag of Anderson, DNA swabs of air control knob of BMW, DNA swabs of gear shift of BMW, DNA swabs of grip trigger slide of Anderson, DNA swabs of steering wheel of BMW, DNA swabs of exterior rear driver's side door handle of BMW, DNA swabs of grip trigger slide of Stag, DNA swabs of grip trigger slide of PA15, DNA swabs of interior driver door handle of BMW, DNA swabs of interior passenger door handles, DNA swabs of exterior passenger side door handle, DNA swabs of double barrel mag for PA-15, DNA swabs of exterior passenger side door handle of BMW, DNA swabs of exterior driver's side door handle of BMW, driver's side floor mat of BMW. From KPD headquarters, I've got 2 sets of buccal swabs from Edward Wilson. From our headquarters, from Marquis Ellis, I've got divided by H&M gray teal hoodie, size large, academics gray sweatpants, size medium, Air Jordan black and gray pair of shoes, size 10.5. Also from Mr. Ellis, I've got 2 sets of buccal swabs. From the medical examiner's office, I took a black and pink pajama top, a bag containing numerous pieces of jewelry, a bag containing hair tie and multicolored beaded belly belt, the DNA card for Danishka, swab of red stains from right leg, swab of red stains from left leg, right hand fingernail clippings and clippers, left hand fingernail clippings and clippers, rape kit, the speculum for the rape kit, right hand bag, left hand bag. Some swabs were taken of RBS on hyper tough cable ties. The swabs were taken at our headquarters. I believe those cable ties came from Gilbert Lane. Also taken at our headquarters, some DNA swabs of RBS on Trojan, fire and ice. I believe that was condom wrappers. Two sets of buccal swabs for Faith Yoakum were sent to TBI. Buccal swabs for LaTuan Osborne were sent. We sent some glass pieces from the door frame from Gilbert Street, and that came from the door frame at the back door to the house. We also sent some glass pieces from debris, from that debris pile found outside on the deck next to the back door. I took buccal swabs, and it says these were taken at Ivy Avenue. I took a set of buccal swabs from DeAndre Thaxton, and then a set of buccal swabs from Katia Young. I took a set of buccal swabs for Bethany Simmons. She works with us in our firearms unit. And that's all I took.
I want to briefly ask about the DNA standard for Ms. Bethany Simmons. She's going to testify later in this trial, but why does her DNA often get sent off to TBI in an investigation like this?
When they are examining shell casings back there, just due to the nature of it, their machine, we put multiple shell casings on it from all kinds of different cases, so they don't put gloves on back there when they are handling these casings usually.
So she's sent as what we would call like an elimination standard?
Yes.
Okay. I believe those are all my questions for you at this time.
Cross-examination.
Judge, I don't really have any questions. I would ask the court to copy her reports there that she read from. Obviously, that is not her firsthand knowledge, and mark those as identification only with maybe something to be talked about later, Judge.
Sure, any objections?
No objection.
All right, if you would mind to provide a copy of those and let's file those collectively as the next exhibit for ID purposes. All right, any further questions?
No, Judge.
All right, Ms. Martin, you step down. Thanks so much for being here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:07. I think your lunch is here, so we're going to break for about 45 minutes. Let's plan to be back at about 2 o'clock or so. Don't discuss this case amongst yourselves, but as a we'll see you back at 2 p.m. sharp. Okay? so I'm going to stand in recess till 2 p.m. Let's plan to be back and ready to go at 2 p.m. sharp.